All right, we're here for another check. Sorry for the bad voice. I changed the camera angle to see if we get a little bit better view on the bees from being more at the side instead of at the front. So let's see how they're doing. All right. So my great hope is that they will have decided to touch these frames up here. There have certainly been lots of bees crawling around on these frames up here, so let's see if they've done anything. Not so much on this outer frame. If you're looking for a good place to start with, the outer frame is not, so I'm going to skip over to these center frames. And they really have just done nothing up here. Scooch all of these back over. And let's check out the bottom box. All right, they look very busy down here. All right, so we've got a lot of nectar over here. Still just drawing on this side. And this end frame is just all honey, so I'm not going to mess with that because I think that would annoy them and potentially mess up their honey. All right, we've got larvae down to eggs here. So our queen is definitely still hanging around. We've got capped brood over here. And we've got honey out around the edges. And I watch them, they seem to be bringing pollen in all the time, but I don't see a lot of it on that frame. All right, well, we are backfilling everywhere down here with honey. Is that not just the prettiest sheet of brood? And out here on the edge where it's not covered over, there's brood in there too. So she has used up all of the available space, which is what we want her to do. The thing is, our flow around here should probably be ending soon. And they are really, massively building up their population, but they just won't touch that upper super. And so this side all hatched out and it's just full of eggs. So our queen is down here working hard. But while the flow is still on really strong, I don't want them to swarm because the queen runs out of space to lay because they won't touch that upper box. No swarm cells down here. That's all just weird comb they got drawn down there. Here's where all that pollen is going. All those fun bright colors in there. That's all pollen. Or bee bread these days. It was pollen. They do some stuff with it and turn it into bee bread, and that's the protein source for the little baby bees. It's not all honey and sugar. All right, we've drawn this up nicely. We've got brood. We're just capping over in here. And she has come and laid in every cell that they have drawn. We got eggs all the way out to the edges. Looking a little more at the bottom because that's where swarm cells will tend to be. It's just an empty cup right there. Lots of pollen on this frame too. And just an amazing queen job over here. Every available space is laid up. Alright, I still haven't quite finished drawing out this one. They are busily turning this side into honey though, which is great. A little bit of pollen on here, but mostly honey. And then a nice full frame of honey on the end there. So they are really running out of space on the bottom. And hopefully that means that they will choose to use their space up at the top. Alright, we'll get you on. And I could just finish drawing out this one frame. This is the only real frame that's not drawn up. Maybe a little bit left on this one that's not drawn, but they could just finish drawing that up and use that space. So we'll see what they just decide they want to do. But the good news is I don't see any evidence that they're thinking about swarming, which is what I was mostly worried about with the fact that they won't come up here and really touch up here. But our queen is doing wonderfully. She is laying very efficiently, filling in every space. Really, you couldn't ask her for more. All right, so give you guys a little bit closer and get into our second half. And for anyone who has been following along with us for the last 5 weeks, this hive was a little bit stronger when we put the nuke in, and this one we put a double deep on so we could pull some brood up into the top because I can't get bees to touch a medium super. And let's see what they've done so far this week. You're always supposed to check and see if make sure your queen isn't on the bottom of your inner cover. Definitely never seen one there. But I guess she could be there. Okay. Still haven't come out to the edges yet. And these guys I'm less worried about swarming because they do have plenty of space, but they're also willing to touch and draw at these cells. And I said, you know, I can't see if they're doing this kind of thing on the upper frames, but maybe they are. The thing is, bees produce wax most efficiently right after they are out of their cappings and when they're nurse bees. And so hopefully we have a lot more nurse bees emerging on that other side because they have so much brood down there. This is going to be a full sheet of honey, man. Well, not that side. That side looks a little sad. But this side will be. Continue to try to explain to them why I don't want them to do that. I want nice, neat, even, orderly rows. All right. So the queen has come up and recently relayed this hive, or this top area. And that makes sense. We put this upper box on about a month ago, so its first round of brood is hatched out, and now she's relayed in it. And this side is, no, she's relayed that side too. Okay. But lots of honey around the edges, and because those frames next to it aren't drawn out, they're building it super thick, which will be great when we want to get it out, but is not encouraging them to draw well on the other side. All right. We're drawing this out. Looks good. Looks like we're going to use this frame for honey storage. And we're just going to do crazy stuff on this side. Got a little queen cup action here. Just want to make sure that no one has laid in that. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to keep hoping they won't do this again. See how nice all of the rows are around you where you've done them correctly and you have all that space because you're using it efficiently. Oh my gosh. Oh, big heavy frame. We've got another queen cup down here. 2 queen cups. Both appear to be empty. This frame is really heavy. Get rid of both of those. And that just looks like an excellent frame right there. And this looks less exciting. Man, you guys are just making queen cups everywhere. Everywhere they drew decent comb on here, she has laid. And another queen cup. And I wish they would not do this stuff. Slow it down, there you go. Rethink that decision. This side they did a lovely job on. And she has come back and relayed this side as well. So they were trying to backfill it, and she was like, whoa, dudes, space delay, please, please. And then looks like we've got a wonky comb. Yeah. Just wonkiness, and then the rest of the box is pretty empty. All right. So let's get you guys closed up. And all those little pieces of wax I was dropping down onto here, and the bees seem to really want to keep their wax in. I want them to draw a good comb, so I'm just going to let that kind of be there, and hopefully they will rebuild in a more appropriate location. All right. Anytime you see a large crowd of bees, we just check to make sure there's not a queen around. Okay. All right, let's get into this bottom box. All right. Okay, so these guys, we went ahead and put on that top super before they had really completely filled out this bottom part, just because they were so strong when they started. I didn't want to risk them swarming. So let's see what they're doing down here now. So it's not completely full the way that one's completely full on the bottom. The outside frame is pretty empty. I don't know if this is necessarily spicier or they're just more of them. Maybe a little spicier. All right. Got a lovely frame of nectar right in here. And more nectar. We're drawing that one out. Again, we've seen eggs, so not worried about that. No queen cells on the bottom. We have an empty area here. And they're backfilling this frame. I think they're just building a weird comb there. I was worried that was kind of a swarm cell right there, but it's not. It's just wonky comb. All right. Alright, we've got some young larvae in here. Just a couple of them. And young larvae over here. Weird cells there. Alright. come back in and backfilled a little bit in here. We got some older larvae in here. Those are getting ready to be capped over. Just haven't seen the like sheets and sheets of eggs in this one like I have in the other one. Although I have seen some eggs, so that is a good thing. And she's gone around to the edges and looked for places to lay there. No swarm cells. Got some uncapped brood, capped brood. Capped and uncapped brood. Oh, and there's a bee crawling on my leg. Hopefully he's just chilling down there. Generally, bees kind of sting more for the face. So that's why I have the veil on. You've seen a couple of them have tried to kind of come see me up there. All right, we've got eggs down here at the edges. And then slightly older larvae in the middle. Not a lot in there. We got really excited. We saw both our queens last time. And I think this time I'm not going to see either of them. Because I'm not going to take out that last ring. And that's all honey for me. So, I kind of feel like the queen might like the bees to draw a little bit more, but there is space for her still to lay. And no evidence that they're thinking about swarming. Which is, again, the thing I'm most concerned about. In addition to the fact that I want to keep all my bees and hopefully make this into a split, there's the fact that I'm in an urban area. And so I'd really prefer they don't go out and find a new home. Okay. All right, my sweets. So overall, we are continuing to progress. This is supposed to be the end of the flow around here is this week, so we'll see how they do. The privet has come and is mostly gone, which is kind of our last really big thing around here. But again, first year keeping bees right in this area, so we'll see how this goes. All right, have a great day.